Hey guys, this is Skylar. I'm completely blind. I'm autistic, and I have a chronic heart condition. Today I'm going to be talking about a certain three-letter word that got me in a heap of trouble. Now this word you probably wouldn't think about it getting people into trouble because it's not a curse word. It's not something that you would bleep, but I got in trouble for it. Alright, now let's start out with the beginning of the story. When I was from 9 years old all the way to 17, I was at the school for the blind, which is like, it's a school especially for blind people, and it has, like, instead of going home every day like people usually do from school, I had to stay on the dorm because my school was like 3 hours from where we lived, so I had to get bused back and forth from home every weekend. They would bus me to school on the Sunday and back to the weekend or back home on Friday on holidays. Now, the word that I'm going to talk about that got me into a heap of trouble, you ready? Lap. L-A-P. As in where my hands are right now as I'm speaking to you. Now, why I got in trouble with lap is because when I was 15, I had an innocent desire. You know how some people they dream about winning $1 million or winning the lottery? Well, my dream was I wanted to sit in my Uncle Richard's lap. Or I just wanted to sit in a lap, in somebody's lap. And not in a gross way, but just in like a innocent way. And, well, I got in trouble for that. You see, what I wanted to do is I wanted to make a mannequin lap, if you will, like a fake lap, like a dummy lap that I could sit on without having to actually enlist the lap of another fellow human. So the plan was, my teacher, she had some old pants that she was not wearing anymore, and she wanted us to she got some stuffing from an old futon, and she wanted to stuff the pants and then, like, I guess sew them up or tie them up at the end so the stuffing wouldn't come out. And I would sit on that, and, kind of, that would be a sub for a lap. Well, my RI, or my residential instructor, Eve, had to call my mom before we did anything. And my mom, to put it gently, she said no. To put it gently. But she also gave a few expletives, and she threatened to spank me. Don't worry, she never followed through. But, my mom, she is a good person. And she was just, back then she really didn't understand, my special interest in my autism. She just wanted me to be politically correct, and she was just very high on the discipline, and her default setting was yell. She was never abusive, and sometimes just her default setting was just yell. So after that exchange after Mom gave me all those expletives and spanking threats, I didn't say anything about wanting to sit in laps anymore, or people sitting in mine, or anything like that anymore. But I did kind of find other ways that I could substitute for lap sitting and not get in trouble. For example, in OT, in occupational therapy, there's a instrument called a bolster. Think of it as a giant foam log. They're usually made out of foam, and they're usually pretty big, and they're shaped like a log. I would sit on one of these because it kind of felt like sitting on a lap. Because if you think about it, laps are made out of two legs, and your thigh from your groin to your knee is kind of shaped like a log or a cylinder, kind of. So sitting on that log-shaped bolster pillow kind of reminded me of sitting on a lap. Also, another thing I would do is sit on the arm of the couch, because again, that same log shape, it kind of mimicked sitting on a lap. Also, one time for Thanksgiving, my aunt held me in her lap for a picture. I was like 14, actually 15. She held me in her lap for a picture, and the only reason I was smiling is because I was sitting in my aunt's lap. Now, the reason I didn't smile for pictures is because my aunt back then, she didn't understand that to get me to smile for a picture, you have to say, one of my favorite words. Like, Mom always gets me to say whiskey for a picture because whiskey's one of my favorite words. But my aunt didn't understand that back then. But the only reason I was smiling for this picture is because I was sitting in my aunt's lap. And here's a secret. My aunt used to, even when I was like 15, 16, sit me in her lap. Mom never knew about this whole lapscapade. She just never knew, but my aunt would always let me sit in her lap. So, I also liked the name of the gym. Hopefully I'm pronouncing this right. Grammar police or word police, if you hear me, correct me in the comments. Lapis lazuli? Or is it lazuli? I really like the name of it because lapis lazuli or lazuli actually has lap in it. So. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the scarecrow. Before I got in trouble for wanting to make the mannequin lap, my teacher Eve, it was Halloween season, my teacher Eve ran across a scarecrow. It was a decorative scarecrow. It was like stuffed. Its body was made out of like cloth, and it was stuffed with stuffing. And it was sitting in a chair in front of somebody's dorm at the school. Well, on our walk from the health center, Eve actually let me sit for a while on the scarecrow's lap. I don't know why she didn't take a picture, but she actually let me sit for a while on the scarecrow's lap. Now, it wasn't like straw or anything like your traditional scarecrow. It was like a stuffed, I guess, mannequin, I guess you'd call it, of a person. And it was soft. And I was sitting in its lap, and it actually felt pretty close to sitting on a human lap, I guess. So that was pretty much my adventures of the adventures in Lapland. Just kidding. About how I got in trouble about the word lap and why I liked it and blah blah. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and God bless.